My wife is worried about our son's behavior, but he got it from her.
Oh, well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree now, does it?
And there is a trigger warning here for mentions of my 48 male wife, Mary, 50 female, has always coddled our son, Mickey, 28 male. What a darling. Mickey was born premature and spent time in the NICU. Mary was very protective of him. She was a helicopter parent and constantly overextended herself for Mickey's sake. And by the way, this comes from user Original Station 321. One thing that annoyed me was that she would constantly hug and kiss our son. That wasn't a problem. The problem was she would be sad and moody if he didn't give her one. She also had a payment for a kiss thing with Mickey. I tried to tell her Mickey would grow older and he wouldn't appreciate being coddled by his mom so much, but she was convinced her precious baby boy wouldn't be a mean, nasty man who hated hugs and kisses. And I guess she was right. Mickey got married a few years ago to Diane. She is a stand-up woman with a good head on her shoulders. She's straightforward and logical. I was a little worried about Mary because everyone knows how mothers and daughter-in-laws don't get along, but she loved Diane, at least until Mickey came to her with his marital problems.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, you're running and telling on your wife to your moms?
Come on.
I mean, I guess that's right. I mean, you can do that, but like, that's going to be,
it's got limits.
It's not going to be an impartial opinion.
Right.
I mean, I guess sometimes it could be, but it doesn't sound like your mom's going to be impartial.
Yeah, exactly.
She's going to be like, what did she do to my baby?
Right. She's just going to be all... Mark my words.
Mark my words. She's going to make those noises.
Yep.
In the past couple of years, he told Mary Diane was drifting away from him. They were very close to being separated, though I don't think my son would have ever divorced her. Long story short, Diane passed out at the wheel.
Oh.
And got into a nasty accident.
Wow.
She was later told she had a autoimmune disease that has fatigue as a side effect. Diane needs a wheelchair most of the time, but she's not paralyzed. Mickey's been taking care of her, and he's doing a pretty good job. They seem to have a happy and stronger marriage. Today, my wife was a nervous wreck. She told me Mickey and Diane visited. Our town is not wheelchair friendly, so Diane needs a lot of help. Mary told me that Mickey asked Diane to pay him with hugs and kisses, and he was smothering her with affection. Okay, it's his wife. I asked Mary if Diane seemed afraid, upset, or annoyed, and she said no. I told Mary I didn't see a problem with an inside joke between a married couple. Mary burst out that it was wrong because of how helpless Diane was. I told her that 1, Diane wasn't helpless, and 2, our son's ridiculous behavior was her fault. Mary modeled that hugs and kisses were required to show love, and Mickey was doing what he learned. I mean, he learned the whole paying with a kiss thing from Mary. She stormed off and has been giving me the silent treatment. Am I the a-hole? No, it sounds like your wife is jealous of her son's partner for some reason.
Yeah, that's always a weird thing that we find in these stories of the mom being jealous of the daughter-in-law getting love from the son.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just
weird.
Yeah, it's gross.
She's being like, well, I used to do that with him.
Yeah.
But, she's not saying that outright, but she's trying to spin it in like, well, what if Diane's uncomfortable and helpless?
Right.
It's like, well, she certainly doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like they've turned the inside joke / whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It wasn't really a joke between you two, but now it's just a little cute thing.
Yeah,
like a little cute thing in the couple.
Yeah. You should be happy. Be like, oh, look, he's passing on that cute thing that I did. He's carrying it through to his lovely wife.
Yeah, instead it's like, I am the only one who should have that kind of relationship with my son.
Weird alert.
Very weird, overbearing mom activities.
Yep.
We have some comments. Number 1, not the a-hole. Overall, it seems like your wife's ridiculousness worked out. I don't think this arrangement of paying with affection would have started when Diane got sick. It probably happened earlier in their relationship. And if Diane didn't like it, she would have communicated that at some point, hopefully. Your wife is butting into your son's relationship. There could be a number of reasons for that, but ultimately, it should stop. Sit her down and tell her that Diane is ill, but she's still of sound mind and can make her own decisions. This is a relationship dynamic that doesn't have to do with her illness, and it should be between Diane and Mickey. While it is 100% your wife's fault that Mickey does this, it's not productive to point it out to her, so you may want to avoid that. Good luck, OP. OP replies, it probably didn't start when Diane got sick, but I know Mickey did it a lot more. I think he feels guilty and worried for Diane's health, so he's showing his love the best way he knows how. I don't know why my wife is so upset. I would have thought she would be flattered and boast that she was right. Reply says she's upset because that was her thing with Mickey, and she doesn't want him doing it with anyone else. Pretending Diane is forcing it is a way of trying to put a stop to it. Another reply says, I don't think she's concerned. I think she's shocked that her thing with her little boy is now part of his and his wife's relationship. And there is an update. I agree with those comments.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even think... it's so weird to me that it's like the first one is like, yeah, sit her down and explain to her. It's like, this shouldn't even be an explain thing. It's like,
yeah,
it's two people in a marriage and he's doting upon his wife in a, whatever. It's cute.
Exactly.
It's cute. Okay.
It's just cute.
It's cute.
There's a lot of things like that when you're a kid. It's like, yeah, kids and their moms will like cuddle or something like that. Like that's not something that you own, just because it's your son. It's like, yeah, he's gonna want to cuddle with his wife. It's like it feels like the same kind of thing.
Yes, and we do have an update.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Let's get a little deeper into this. A lot of the responses said that my wife Mary was jealous of Diane, our daughter-in-law, or inappropriately close with Mickey, our son. But she welcomed Diane with open arms and treated her as the daughter she never had. We invited Diane and Mickey over for a bite, well, at least Mary did. She commented a few times under her breath that Mickey was doing too much PDA and sent him to the grocery store. Then she interrogated Diane on if she felt comfortable, if anything was bothering her, and told Diane to let her know if anything ever worried her, because Mary would pick her up. No judgment. I was baffled. Diane thanked Mary, but said she was fine. Mickey came back and we had a nice time, though I noticed Mary kept an eye on them the entire time they were at our home. After they were gone, I turned to Mary and asked her what the heck she was doing. She stammered that she has no idea what I'm talking about. I told her that she was being really weird and asked her point blank if she was jealous that Mickey was doing their thing, so to speak, with Diane. She broke down and said she wasn't jealous. She was downright uncomfortable. Then she told me that she hated the way Mickey used an innocent thing between mother and child for husband and wife. You own the patent on hugs and kisses?
Come on, dude.
Are you serious?
On. That's crazy.
Those were totally mine. Those were my kisses and hugs.
Yeah. She's like, ew, like something that a mother and son would do, a wife and his husband are doing. Ew,
You've
disgusting.
soiled it. You've soiled the sanctity of my hugs and kisses.
Yeah, that's just so, it's got no logic behind it.
Just very strange.
Yeah.
So, I asked her why it bothered her. She said that it looks bad, a man demanding affection in exchange for helping his physically disabled wife. She emphasized that Diane was more helpless here than she could be. We lived in a mountainous town that's not really wheelchair friendly. Diane can't drive anymore, and she had to rely on Mickey. Mary had to ask Diane and make sure she was really okay. I asked her if she had so little trust in her own son to just be a good person. Mary said her own father seemed like a good person to others, but he was not a good father or husband. Mary's late mother was physically disabled and likely had anxiety and depression because of her disability and her husband's controlling behavior. She wasn't allowed to go out of the house and had no money. Her husband threatened to throw her in an asylum if she tried to leave with or without the kids. So, Mary's mother, my mother-in-law, would reward children with kisses and hugs if they helped her out. They did chores like washing dishes or laundry, or helping her make a meal in exchange for extra hugs and kisses since her mother didn't have an allowance to give them. Her mother passed away when she was a teenager. Mary had never mentioned much of her childhood before now. Mary passed that tradition down to Mickey, but changed it a little bit since she liked to spoil him. Seeing it in a non-parent-to-child context and with Diane being physically disabled was pretty disturbing to Mary, and she was getting panic attacks thinking about it. Well, I think that this is a little illuminating. Maybe it's more about our childhood trauma.
Isn't it always?
Yes, the classic. But come on. I don't think that your son is going to equate to your father here.
Yeah.
These are not the same situation.
Exactly.
Mickey, however, does look like his grandfather. He takes after Mary's features, so I think it also made her upset. I sat her down and said that I understood where she was coming from, and we could figure it out together. I called up Mickey and told him the history behind his grandparents. Mickey said he got why it's triggering his mom, and he wouldn't do it in front of Mary anymore. Mary said that she felt hurt. I assumed she was jealous and insecure of Diane instead of worried for her. Well, you got to understand optically, that's exactly what it looks like, though. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just being honest.
Right.
I deeply hurt her feelings, and I apologized, but she's still hurt. And there is an edit. I got messages saying I was unclear on what Mickey was doing that made my wife so upset. So, Mary's mother would give Mary a hug and a kiss for doing the dishes, for example. Mary would give her mom a hug for making dinner or sewing up her clothes, since her mom didn't have much energy. When Mary had Mickey, she would get him ice cream or a trip to the park and ask for a hug in exchange. Now, when Diane needed help getting in our house, Mickey would joke that he would help in exchange for a kiss, or he would help her at meals and ask for a hug or a kiss then. Now, Mickey would never not help his wife if she didn't give him a kiss, just like Mary wouldn't have denied him a snack or a trip to the park as a kid if he didn't want a hug. But it's triggering for Mary because of her past. Mickey promised to stop making the kiss as a payment joke, but not stop being affectionate with Diane. I feel bad because Mary said I assumed the worst of her. Maybe it was the natural conclusion, but I shouldn't have accused her and just asked her what was going on. I mean, optically, that looks like exactly what was happening. So I
Yeah.
just say sorry. Say, I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know the things I don't know.
Right. I only know what you tell me. And if you don't tell me, I don't know.
And we've got some comments here. Comment 1, this absolutely makes sense as a trauma response. But speaking as an abuse survivor myself, maybe your spouse should consider talking to a therapist to help unpack this. The first panic attacks or irrational to the outside observer responses are often just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a chance a lot more of these issues will start bubbling up. Your daughter-in-law's physical disabilities being similar enough to her mother's could uncover a number of triggers she may not have known about. A second comment responds, your wife's story was so sad about her mom. Goes to show you never know what's really going on with someone. Your wife clearly has a lot of past trauma to work through, and I'm glad there is open communication because I assumed she was jealous too. Good luck going forward. And that is the end of that story. Well, I guess that's why it's valuable to not make assumptions and instead ask, for open honesty.
That's why we like communication, people. That's why we like it.
Yeah.
Yay for communication. My stepsister invaded my privacy, but I'm still the villain.
You've got the twisty, curly mustache, don't you?
So, my mom passed away 5 years ago when I was 12. My dad remarried about 3 years ago. His new wife, Stacy, came with a daughter who's now 12. I'm 17. Stacy looks like she tried to be a model in a small town catalog once and never got over it. She's loud, but honestly, I just stay out of her way. I don't have a close relationship with her daughter either because she's basically her mini-me. By the way, this comes from Sam X Blue, and I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, as for my dad, he has always been a keep the peace kind of guy, even when my mom was alive. He just hates any kind of confrontation, so he lets people walk all over him, which means that he lets Stacy and her daughter do whatever they want. So yeah, we don't feel like a family at all. Anyway, after my mom passed away, I started journaling. It's the one thing that helped. At first, I was writing letters to her, just telling her about school and how much I missed her. Now it's just where I put everything. How much I can't stand Stacy. dumb crap happening at school. The fact I have a massive crush on this girl in my chem class. They're literally my brain on paper, and I keep them in my desk drawer. Never out in the open. This feels like foreshadowing right now.
Foreshadowing on an elite level.
Yeah. So, I got home around 3 days ago, and I hear laughing coming from my room. I open the door, and my stepsister and her friend are on the floor with my journals spread out around them. She was reading them out loud in a stupid, mocking voice. She was reading a part about how I was having a bad day and just wanted to talk to my mom. They were laughing their butts off. Then she flipped to a part about my crush and was like, ew, she likes girls. I really don't even remember what I said because I just started screaming at them to get the F out of my room.
Yes, these are very 12-year-old activities.
Yeah. My dad and Stacy ran in because her friend started screaming. Literally, she was too loud, acting if I was going to unalive them or something. My stepsister immediately started crying, saying that they were just joking and that I was being crazy.
We were just joking, invading your privacy and laughing at all of your most intimate thoughts.
We're just joking, laughing at you missing your passed away mom.
Yes.
That's all. You monster.
Gosh, and then you yelled, I can't believe you can do that.
I can't believe it.
You're so scared.
It's crazy. My dad just tells me that I'm overreacting and that she's just a kid and she doesn't mean any harm. That I'm basically an adult and stuff. But literally, before I could even explain myself, he already took her side. Then he told me that I shouldn't have left my journals where she could find them.
Goalposts moved.
Yep. I was so pissed, I looked at him and said something like, of course you say that. You haven't given a crap about me or mom since they moved in. Then I turned to my stepsister and said, don't ever talk to me again. You're so effing weird and disgusting. Stacy gasped and dragged her sobbing daughter out of the room. My dad just looked at me with this disappointed face and walked out. It's been ghostly silent in the house ever since. They're all acting like I'm this huge monster who needs to apologize and kind of giving me the cold shoulder. I know what I said was mean, but I feel like she crossed a line that you can't come back from. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
What you said was mean because you're a 17-year-old who just had their diaries, journals read by their stepsister, making fun of them. So, yes. This whole situation is like ridiculous. Your parents are failing.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, okay, if these kids were like 8 or 9, then like that would be a little bit different. If they're like 8 or 9 and they're doing this and like, yes, they probably did mean harm, but like, okay, this is a learning moment, whatever. Let's teach them that that's not good to do. Kind of like how you have to teach kids to be gentle when they're petting an animal, you know? But like, they're 12. 12 is old enough to understand making fun of people. That's when everyone gets bullied.
That's what they were doing.
They were old enough to know what's right and wrong.
Exactly.
They looked for the journals. They found them in the drawer. We're not out where anyone could see it.
That's like the scariest age is like 12 and 13-year-old girls. They're terrifying because they know that and they will make fun of you. So that's what was happening. It's not like they were like little children. They knew what they were doing. Come on, guys. But we do have some comments. Commenter number 1 says, not the a-hole. Your dad is your only parent left, and if he's not going to stick up for you, you don't have any choice but to do it yourself. Is what you said a little mean? Yeah. Will it get your point across? Also, yes. Therapy could help you guys as a family, but everyone has to want to participate. Commenter number 2 says, I'm sorry that you had to experience that. Not the a-hole in my book. Stepsister had no business reading your journals or sharing them with a stranger. Your family has no apparent understanding of privacy or respect for boundaries. Tell your father you want family counseling and respect for your personal boundaries. If he doesn't agree, perhaps you can talk to a school counselor. You have less than a year before you are an adult and can legally move out. So start collecting important documents like birth certificates, social security cards, and any other documents you take with you that might help you with school or employment. Do you have any grandparents or maternal relatives that you can reach out to? If so, you may be able to store your private things with them to keep them safe. That's an interesting comment. It feels a little much for me to like make sure your social security card and birth certificate and stuff
they're
are
12.
safe. Yeah, I feel like
I don't think they're trying to do identity theft.
Right.
I think they were just trying to read your diary because they were like, hee hee, oh, she's so weird and gross. Ah, she's so dumb.
Yeah.
Because they're 12.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it's a big enough issue to where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm moving out immediately. I need to get all of this stuff because they're gonna steal it, and then I guess. But like, it just doesn't feel like we're there just yet.
Yeah, and it's
But-
it's not easy to, because when we read stories about like adults that act like irrationally, sometimes we
Yeah.
say it's like you gotta just treat them like a little silly baby.
Yeah.
And
true.
would you let the words of a silly little baby affect you that much? No.
You shouldn't.
So if your 12-year-old stepsister is being a silly baby
Yeah.
and reading your journals and being like,
Oh, girl, she's so dumb and she's so gross. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
you can be like, hey, you're breaking like my privacy. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
But like, you can also be like, I don't really care at all what you think about me because
Right.
you're a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I think the main issue is just that the dad was like just not defending you at all.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
The issue here
So-
is the failure of the parents.
Exactly. But we do have an update from 4 days later. Hey everyone, hope you all are doing great. I want to start by saying that I'm genuinely sorry for not responding to everyone individually. How dare you, OP?
How
dare you? It's okay. But I read all of the comments, and to everyone who reached out in my DMs, you guys are great. Seriously. Not a whole lot has happened, but a few of you asked for an update, so here it is. First, to answer the questions I kept seeing, yes, I have a part-time job and I'm saving up. The plan is to move out the second I turn 18. And no, my dad isn't a closet guard. He was actually just really supportive when I came out a few years ago. Stacy isn't either, surprisingly. Honestly, I think her daughter just did it because she wanted her friend to think that she was cool for making fun of the girl kisser, lol. Anyway, after reading all your comments and making sure that I wasn't actually a monster, I just decided to stop trying. I'm not going to be rude, but I'm not going to go out of my way to pretend that we're a happy family anymore. I just act the way that they deserve. Like 2 days after I posted, my dad came into my room and was like, hey, we ordered pizza from your favorite place if you want some. I just said, no thanks. He looked genuinely disappointed and said that he'd leave some for me in the fridge. I felt kind of bad for like a second, but then I remembered that he's the one who let this happen, so I don't care. He's been trying to start conversations with me since then, but I just give 1 or 2 word answers and he eventually gives up. Stacy made her daughter give me the super forced apology in the kitchen the other day. Interesting. She was just staring at the floor and mumbled, I'm sorry for reading your diary and being rude.
Yeah, the classic like,
I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry for a diary being rude.
Now hug each other.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
that's always the thing. I just said thanks and didn't even look up from my phone. The house is quiet now, which is a massive improvement, to be honest. I'm just doing my thing, focusing on work and getting out of here. I did go see that new anime movie that I was excited about with my friend yesterday, and it was awesome. Anyways, thanks again, everyone, for confirming that I wasn't losing my mind. Well, for real, it helped. And there are some comments. Commenter number 1 says, sometimes you just need to match energy. Give people what they give you. Your family didn't treat you like family, so now you don't have to do it for them. You probably have read a bunch of Reddit aunts and uncles now who are wishing you the best. If you remember, please let us know when you get out on your own. I was also one of the kids who left the minute they turned 18 too. It can be stressful and isolating, but the peace it brought outweighed the bad immensely. And there is nothing else but support from the comments. But that's the end of that story. Okay, so, not like really a solution, I guess.
Well, I think it'd be really
But-
valuable to open a dialogue with your dad, because
Yeah.
if you don't, then there's no way to, work through or find any solutions or improvements.
Yeah.
I think being able to just, and again, you're 17, so it's hard to be emotionally eloquent at 17,
Right.
especially with your own family.
Right.
But it's just being like, hey, I don't like that I just was immediately the bad guy because I was upset. Because
Yeah.
it's an upsetting situation.
Exactly.
And then, I would hope that he would relate to that and say, I hear you and you're right.
Yeah.
And I should have been more equitable in the situation. But you got to also, I would assume that he's like, he's playing that because he's like, I need my wife to be happy. So I'm going to, defend her kids so
Very
I don't have to
possible.
get an earful of that later.
Yeah.
But, and that's still not fair to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But got to open that dialogue.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Maybe be silent for a while if you don't have the energy for it. But yeah, try to open up a little bit, because you don't want this to just be like the end of your relationship. And I doubt it would be either way, but yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I refused to sing at my brother's wedding, and it caused family drama.
We just want to hear your beautiful voice.
My 28 male brother, 33 male, will be getting married in the fall. The two of us are fairly close, more so in recent years, which is to say he's not ignorant about past events in my life. By the way, this comes from user Any Reality, and I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, recently I got invited to dinner by him and his fiance. The two were obviously buttering me up before my brother finally told me, so my fiance and I have been talking, and we'd really love it if you sang our first dance song. Just the one song. I know you don't really sing anymore, but I dug up some old videos of you singing, and she loves your voice just as much as I do. This could be your wedding present to us.
Aw.
It sounds reasonable enough.
Yeah.
But if you say no, you say no. And they gotta accept that. But for background, OP says, I used to sing all the time. I formed a band with friends in high school, and we were minorly successful with a YouTube channel that had a few hundred subscribers. In this band was my best friend since second grade, Mason. Unfortunately, when we were 17, Mason passed away.
Oh, wow.
The band dissolved almost immediately, and our YouTube channel and all videos were taken down. Since then, I have never sung. Singing without Mason felt wrong, so I didn't. Not in the shower, no karaoke, not at church, never. My brother knew all of this, but I wasn't sure if his fiance did, so I started with, sorry, I'll have to refuse. You know I don't sing anymore, in the interest of not ruining the dinner. My brother was annoyed as all get out. Come on, it's for my wedding. It's just one song. I'm not asking for much here, and so on and so forth. I continued to politely refuse and left soon after. Shortly after, I started receiving countless calls from my mom, who also knows the reason and decided to bother me about not singing. It's your brother's wedding. I think you really should see a therapist about this. We all love your singing voice, and it's been 10 years since any of us got to hear it. The two have since decided on a new tactic by saying that my song will be a good way to honor Mason's memory. The point about therapy aside, I've been to lots of it, and I'm at peace with my decision to stop singing. Am I wrong for refusing? It's clearly important to them, and the joy I got from performing was not the act of singing itself, but from performing with my best friend.
Oh.
Advice.
I mean, I think they should understand this. If they needed another reminder of why you don't sing, maybe they need another reminder. It's frustrating that they already knew your reasoning, but obviously they're not caring about that right now. So maybe you just need to tell them again. Just hey guys, no. This is not about how much I love you or whatever. It's just about this very personal thing that I need you guys to remember.
Yeah. But we do have an update. Future sister-in-law reached out because her washer broke and she wanted to come over and do laundry. I wasn't thrilled, but I live close enough and have an in-unit, and the laundromats in our area aren't safe. I was content to watch TV silently in my tiny apartment while we waited, but she had something to discuss. I thought she'd be the third person to try convincing me, but no. Instead, she told me she wasn't sure if my brother was giving her the full story. She told me that he said he used to sing all the time and he was in a band, but he quit when the band broke up, which is technically true, but come on. Yeah, brother, you're leaving out a very crucial piece of information there.
Yeah, extremely.
I also learned that my brother had told many of his friends this too, about how he's always trying to convince me to come around and sing for all of them. He had literally never asked before that conversation, but was prone to making comments like, boy, it sure sucks you don't sing anymore. I know a lot of people that would want to hear that. So I very briefly told her about Mason, just the important bits, that I used to sing with him and then he passed away, so I don't have any desire to do so anymore. She didn't say anything for a while, but I saw her face go through about a dozen different emotions, and I'm pretty sure she settled on anger.
Oh.
Probably at her husband.
Hopefully.
Before she left, she told me she's going to tell my brother to get someone else to sing. I got the distinct feeling it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. So that's it so far. All quiet. Fingers crossed. Oh boy, I sure hope this doesn't blow up into like a marriage, wedding ending.
Oh my gosh.
Event.
Can you imagine?
Well, I would certainly have a lot of feelings over being lied to that way.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
sure.
why would you've deceived me. You know why your brother doesn't sing.
Right. Like I would, I think, be more upset about like you're not caring for your brother like this. Like this is such a delicate subject and you're just totally ignoring that. Why are you ignoring your brother's feelings and experiences like this?
Exactly. But there is a second update here. New things happened quickly, but I held off on a new post because my last one was premature. Some things people predicted happened, other things did not. Let's get this out of the way up front. The wedding is still on. All right.
Okay, good.
The wedding will always still be on. This was never in doubt. I think a lot of commenters vastly overestimated my importance. After talking with future sister-in-law, I didn't hear anything from my brother initially. I did eventually get a short text from her saying that I shouldn't worry about the wedding anymore and they'll find someone else to sing. My mom was another story. She called me repeatedly since I ignored her first few calls, and when I finally did pick up, she was about 2 steps below screaming into the phone about how I interfered in your brother's relationship and made things so much harder for them. And do you know how upset he is right now? It's time to put grudges aside and make amends. Who even has a grudge? There's no grudge here. He got caught lying to his fiance about OP.
Right. It's like, I'm sorry, did you forget how upset I was when my friend passed away? Like, huh? Where's your logic?
Who's like straight up? Do you know what a grudge is, Mom?
Yeah.
Who has a grudge? So the conversation with my mom wasn't especially long. I did a lot of self-reflection about my family relationships and decided it was time to have a very honest conversation with my brother. I even booked a therapy session specifically about preparing myself for this conversation. I called him up and asked him point blank if, knowing I will absolutely not be singing for him, he still wanted me to attend the wedding. He didn't answer for a bit, but eventually said yes. I realized I no longer trusted him like I used to. And I said I will only be attending the ceremony and not the reception. He had a minor freak out over this. Are you effing kidding me? Quote unquote. But then said it was whatever and that I needed to come up with a concrete excuse for my absence so that BS doesn't overshadow everything. And that I could no longer be his groomsman since that would leave an empty chair at the head table. We hung up shortly after. We have not spoken again since. Something that hasn't come up before, we both have 2 other brothers, 35 and 26. Because he removed one of his brothers from the wedding party, he decided to replace the other 2 as well because it wouldn't look right to have just 2 out of the 3 brothers as groomsmen, so instead opted for 0 out of 3. That seems like maybe a tactical move to try to make you feel more responsible for messing up, so to speak, his wedding, which is crazy because he's doing it himself.
That was so stupid of him. It wouldn't look that weird.
My younger brother made it his personal mission to extract every detail from all parties. He called me up to get my side and then decided he was going to join me in skipping the reception. Honestly, I think he was looking for an excuse not to go anyway. He despises family functions. At this point, I am praying for no more updates. This is just absurd. The wedding cannot come soon enough. Not related to the update, but instead to the comments I received. I have tried my best to be civil with the many, many comments of, is that what Mason would want? Or have you tried therapy? We are now 3 posts deep on this nonsense. I am not going to be trying so hard at civility anymore. Also, reminder, singing was a hobby. I gave up a hobby. I was not on the cusp of making it big. This is 5 dudes screwing around in a basement on weekends and occasionally playing at a bar or fair. Yeah, you're a human being, you have free will, and you can do whatever you want when it comes to your singing. If that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. If it's part of the way that you mourn your friend. So, OP continues, therapy is not an undo button on grief and trauma. I am not the same person I was before he passed away, and I never will be again. Therapy is about accepting this and the new person I've become, not going back to the way things were. And there is a third update. Let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Let's do it.
Quick refresher. Yes, I have attended therapy. Yes, I have processed Mason's passing. No, therapy does not fix grief, but just makes it more manageable. I quit singing because I stopped finding it enjoyable. No, I'm not in denial. No, I wasn't in love with Mason. Anyway. Spoiler warning, mostly boring. And yes, the wedding still happened. The last couple of months featured a relentless guilt trip from my mom. She was getting increasingly unpleasant, so I eventually just stopped responding to her entirely. I didn't block her because she's still my mom and I love her and would like to know if there was a genuine emergency. But other than that, she's getting radio silence from both me and my younger brother. She had originally started with the argument about how I could honor Mason, then about how I hadn't finished processing my grief before telling me how pathetic it was to live, quote, eternally in my victimhood. I guess she got herself a Tumblr account or something.
Man, what year was this?
Yeah.
My goodness.
The eldest brother tried his best to stay out of everything, but my mom did try to get him on her side. Like I said before, he and I don't have a good relationship, so she probably thought it was a slam dunk. Not so much. My brother, to his credit, told her this whole thing is stupid, and I do not disagree. My youngest brother made good on his promise and skipped the reception with me. He used the excuse that he had to leave immediately to catch a flight back for his job. He's a first responder, so nobody questioned it. Little brother also really wanted my excuse to be that I had started a new band and had to miss the reception to go sing at my first gig because he is chaos incarnate and is to be feared. Instead, I said that I had routine surgery early the next morning and therefore had to skip all food, drinks, and physical activity. I had a reputation for poor health, so nobody really questioned it. As for the brother getting married, he kept quiet for the most part. We didn't talk much, and I don't know for sure if our mom was communicating for both of them so he could avoid being seen as the bad guy or because his now wife kept him in line. Either way, I don't see a way back to restoring our relationship to what it once was. I'm not cutting off contact with him by any means, but we're now on much lesser terms. One hiccup is somehow, I wonder, my brother got an inkling that this whole thing was actually an elaborate ruse and that I was singing at his reception as a surprise. Our whole fight was to throw him off the scent that I was actually taking singing lessons the whole time. Presumably Mason's ghost would descend from wherever and join me in the harmonies or something. And then the living and the gone would come together for the cha-cha slide.
Ah,
Classic.
can't skip that.
Sounds like a
It's
scene
bit of a monster mash.
right out of
going on.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, my brother subscribes to fan fiction. All info about the reception was supplied by my dad a few days afterwards. He was apparently super mopey throughout the beginning of the reception, but ended up enjoying himself by the end. It probably has to do with the fact that he is now married to a terrific woman who's been willingly putting up with him for 3 years. She looked stunning, by the way. Overall, there were a few murmurs about mine and my brother's absence at the reception, but from what I heard, they dispelled quickly, and everyone rightfully focused on the newly married couple.
As they should.
As they
As
should.
they should.
And we have a little bit of story left, but I think I like what I've heard.
I agree.
You're not closing any doors like hard slam forever,
Yeah.
but you know, I think until your brother at least apologizes and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what I did was really actually not okay." And I can see that and I apologize.
Right.
I don't see any reason to reopen that door cuz he doesn't have any accountability for his actions.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like a little bit of distance is fine. A little bit of boundaries is great. And yeah, I think eventually he'll get there. If he doesn't get there on his own, at least his new wife will get him there at some point.
I am going to be
I have faith in that.
OP, I'd be playing Come and Get Your Love by Redbone every day.
I am going to be that annoying guy and be like, "I do wish that you sing one day, buddy. I
Yeah.
do hope you do."
When
and
it-
I
when-
bet when
when
you
it's
do,
time.
you'll cry.
When it's time, yeah. When
You'll
you-
cry big old happy tears.
Yup.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's finish this story. So that's it. I still attend regular therapy because it's become a part of my routine. Mason rarely ever came up before all of this, and I'm presuming that status quo will soon be returned. It's not that I don't miss him, but I have lots of other stuff going on in my life, you know? I'm contemplating moving across the country to be closer to my younger brother. As chaotic and as unpredictable as he can be, he was definitely my rock through all of this. And I'd like to improve my relationship with him one small dose at a time. My job and therapist are both remote, so that simplifies things. It wouldn't be until next year when my lease is up, but it is under serious consideration. Deuces.
I'm so proud of you for doing that, for doing the peace sign. I was like, he better do it.
Deuces.